Standing next to senior advisor to the President of the United States, former mayor of Atlanta, but she still makes impact. Give it up for Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keisha. What is the title? How do I professionally, senior advisor Bottoms?
Keisha.
Keisha.
That will always work. And then if you really want to get me, say Keisha Lance, and I'll go, did we go to high school together?
Yeah.
Okay, Keisha. First of all, thank you for allowing us to visit you in your office
Yes.
today.
Oh,
was
it was great to
amazing.
have you all.
Absolutely, and really talking to us about what your day-to-day activities are. Since you left being the mayor's office in Atlanta, a lot of folks is wondering, well, what is she doing? So for our audience, can you tell them how have you progressed since then?
Oh, I'm working really, really hard on behalf of the President of the United States. So it's incredible just to have a seat at the table and to reflect who we are and all that our ancestors ever hoped that we could be. And the great thing is that when you look at the policies that are coming out of this White House, whether it's a cap on insulin drugs for our seniors, student debt relief, if we're talking about how we can decrease gun violence in our country, and the list goes on and on and on, it's because we have a president and a vice president who are keeping people across America top of mind. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you all. I see it every day. It's reflected in how we are instructed to think and how we are asked to engage, as reflected by you all being here today with the backdrop of the White House of the United
It's incredible.
States. It's crazy.
This is incredible. What the champion, world champion,
I knew
Golden
he was
State
going to bring up
Warriors.
the Warriors, but
Keisha.
it's a good thing that he brought up the Warriors because it made me think about a question we had literally just asked Stephen Curry about how we're seeing so many of the sons now playing basketball. You'll see Tim Hardaway Jr. You know, you're just seeing all of this coming up. But for you and your family, you were talking to Sway and I, Mike, about your kids. Is politics the family business? Do you see your kids coming up in politics?
No, not at all. I have one who memorizes polls. I told him today that when he becomes the president, we talked about what we could do when he becomes the president. But every day, just behind us is what we call the tradesman's entrance, and it's a way that you can come into the White House, and you come through, and they're cardboard boxes, and it's where you see the work getting done. Right. And there's not a moment that I don't walk through that entrance and I think about my grandfather. My grandfather used to haul cardboard, paper out of hotels and businesses in downtown Atlanta and would sell them to recycle them, and it's helped pave the way for me to go to college. So when I come into the White House and I think about coming from my grandfather to today, when I'm walking into the West Wing, that's better than any family business you could think of, because as the president said today, our country is about possibilities. So for my kids, it's just, if you can see it, you can be it. So if it's me coming through here, if it's owning a business like my grandfather, as long as it's an honest day's work, that's all that matters. But I'm just grateful to reflect so many hopes and dreams as a part of the team at the White House.
Mayor Bottoms, you have represented Atlanta so well. I can't not think about Atlanta being the home and place of art and culture and film and music. As you transition into the role now in Office of Public Engagement, how are you thinking about art and culture as a way to bring in constituency groups, as a way for messaging, and as a way of aggregating that system?
We talk about it a lot. On one, how do we amplify our messaging? Because when I look at my kids, I know that the reality is that they're not going to get the messaging on CNN or MSNBC. It just doesn't interest them. They're probably going to get it. It's going to be streamed to them, or they're going to talk to or get it from someone who they see as influential. And so we're constantly talking about how we engage differently. But it's also important that we get people inside the gates of the White House, which we've been doing that, getting people in here so you can see this really is the people's house. This work is being done on behalf of the people. And we know that arts and culture have so much to do with everything. I used to say as mayor, great cities have great culture, and we know that from the White House. that a great country has great culture, great art, and it should be reflected in everything that we do.
Thank you.
One of the things as you talk about Atlanta, and even answering Mike's question, it made me think about people seeing us in these spaces and walking through the West Wing and going into your office. I see a lot of powerful black women walking around the hallways. We spoke with Shalonda Young. We spoke with Karine Jean-Pierre. We're speaking with you. Atlanta became an epicenter for black women as change agents who've done incredible things in industry and otherwise. What advice would you give to leaders of other environments to create that type of space where black women can strive?
Well, and I'll just say this, when you all were in the office, I should have pointed out just across the hall is Susan Rice, Ambassador Susan Rice's office, who heads our Domestic Policy Council, who has been responsible for so much of the great policy that's making a difference. But what I would just say for black women, for whomever you are, when you get that seat at the table, own that seat. And it's easier said than done. But I have to remind myself, the president didn't ask me to come here to think like a white man, to be a white man, to act like somebody else. He asked me to come here because of who I am and all that I reflect and all that I bring to the table. And so sometimes it means raising your hand, saying, I think we should think about it this way. It often means that he will sit across the table and ask you, what do you think? And not that my seat is just as a black woman, but our experiences, if we don't speak up and reflect who we are, then who else will? Because I don't expect that anybody else who's not me will be able to speak on our behalf. And it's just, it's an honor, and the best part about it is that it matters to the president, that he wants us at the table. And as you said, even what you see out front, most people may not know who Shalonda Young is. They may know my name because I was mayor, but Shalonda has one of the most important jobs.
Control the money.
And, and hopefully everybody knows her name, will know her name now, to the extent that they don't. But we are seen and we are heard around here.
Amen.
Well, thank you, Keisha, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Letting us into your
Thank you
world.
so
Thank you.
And we're rooting for you, and we're on your team.
Oh, well, thank
Okay.
you. I'm honored to join you all. Thank you all for being here.
We'll do more, right?
Sounds good to
Sounds
me.
good to me. Okay, Sway in the Morning at the White House. Mike Muse, Heather B. We'll be right back.